Hi, I'm Sue Mills. I'm an indie author writing character-driven love stories set in New England. I'm so glad you've joined Donna and me as we discuss all things bookish.
Hey y'all, I'm Donna Madden. I am the author of sweet yet spicy small town romance. It's great to have you. Come on in and take a seat. Welcome to episode 5 of the Indie Authors Uncovered podcast. Last week we talked about finding the time to write when writing's not your only career. And today we're going to be talking about goal setting for authors. But before we get started, let's talk about our week, Sue. Sue, what are you doing this, or what did you do this week?
Oh, well, I went to Author Nation, which is an indie writer writing conference in Las Vegas. So I was in Las Vegas from Sunday to Friday night. Sunday was a vendor day where there were all kinds of vendors for any service you could imagine. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there were workshops on a variety of topics. And Friday was a big reader signing. They probably had, I would say well over 100 authors signing.
So did you do that?
Pardon me?
Did you set up for that?
I did set up for that. It was, I wish I had sold more books. So I didn't have to call back as many as I did. But it was a really good experience. I met some really nice people.
Well, cool. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay, well, I'm still working on my 4th book in my Linda Valley series. I am doing the last read, and which is, I'm fixing the last things. It's gone through all the editing and proofreading. I'm just trying to get it done. My goal was to get it formatted last weekend, but it didn't happen. So I'm still working on that this week. So my goal this week is to get that up so I can start on my next project that I have planned. So we'll talk about all our goals at the end. But before we get started, I want to just remind all of you out there that if you're watching this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this out with all your friends so we can get out to people and more people can get to know us, and drop comments if you have something to say. So we're going to go ahead and get started with goal setting for authors. You ready, Sue?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. Why is goal setting so tricky for authors when we juggle writing, marketing, and, having a life? Why is it so tricky, or is it easy for you?
It's not easy. I don't juggle well. I have figured that out over this past year. It's hard to find time for everything. So
Totally agree.
I have a hard time prioritizing what's the most important thing. I feel like the writing is the most important thing, but I know that I shouldn't be neglecting the marketing pieces either. So I have a hard time with that. How about you?
Yeah, I try to go by, a word goal, but like right now, my goal right now is to get this book uploaded to Amazon and get it ready so I can get my print copies in my hands. And after that, I have so many ideas. Setting a goal is going to be difficult. It really, really is. And then keeping to it because, I work full time, have a family, and then that guilt sets in if you're spending too much time writing or something with this job. It's guilt sets in, and then I feel like I'm not spending any time with my family. So
yeah, I have had that feeling as well.
Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between, or do you make word count goals for the week? How do you get your writing done? Let's just go right there real quick.
So after we got done our last podcast, I sat down and I thought about, okay, what is my goal? And my goal was to write 2,000 words a day during November, which I knew was going to be a challenge because I was going to be in Las Vegas and I was going to be busy while I was there. I actually did better while I was in Las Vegas hitting that 2,000 word a day goal than I do at home. I
You
did
think
really
it's
well.
because you're around writers?
Pardon me?
You think it's because you were around writers and that's just part of it?
I think it was because I woke up early because of the time difference. And I would write for 45 minutes or an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an hour and a half for lunch. So I would go back to my hotel room during lunch and I would write during lunchtime. So I managed to get 2,000 words in every day. When were we traveling? We traveled on Sunday and we had a 5-hour layover in Baltimore. So I got my laptop out and I wrote while we were there, and I got 2,000 words done there. I think it was because there weren't any distractions in the hotel room, whereas at home there's a lot of distractions. I can see a lot of things that need to be done. Friday and Saturday, I did not write at all because Friday was first the reader signing, and then we went to the airport and we flew on the red eye home. We didn't get home until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I took a nap. So even after I took a nap, I was still tired. So I got back to writing on Sunday. So I'm a bit behind where I want to be, but I think I'm still on my long-term goal for the month, how many words I want to have for the end of the month. So,
Well, I've gotten stuck because my goal for November was to do, I think my ultimate goal was 10,000 words a week, which is what, about 1,500 a day if I do it, every day. But with book 4, with me having to finish book 4 first, I haven't written anything at all. But yet I can't say that that's bad because I have a book coming out. I have to get a book up, and get it out to get published soon. So that's my thing. So if I can get that book up when I get that book up this weekend, then next week I will have to just up it to 2,000 words a day. But now let's look at my day. I work full time. I want to do 2,000 words. On Mondays, I meet with Emily of Small Fry Marketing. Tuesdays, you and I are usually on here with Emily. Wednesdays, I stay at work late. So it's like, I'm going to have to fit writing in somewhere. And unfortunately, the only place that I can see it happening is waking up before 5 a.m. Because I wake up at 5 a.m.
And one of the sessions that I went to in Las Vegas was a man talking about starting his writing career. And he was working in a dry cleaning business. And it was a family business.
Mm-hmm.
The long range goal was, or the thought of his parents, I guess, was that he was going to take it over. And he had this desire to write. And he said the only time he could find to write and do his job and have time with his family was getting up at 3:30 in the morning. I can't do that.
There's
no way.
I mean, I wake up at 5 because I like to relax and drink a cup of coffee and just breathe before I have to get in the shower. And I get in the shower anywhere between 5:45 and 6, so I can be out of the house by 7. Okay. And so I would have to get up at 4:30 so that way I can get that 30 minutes of relaxing and then maybe write from 5 to 6. But then my fear there would be, would I be able to stop writing to get in the shower? Or would I be so into something and then run late? So it's something I got to figure out. Maybe 500 words in the morning, 500 words at night, and just keep it at that, 500 words maybe 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That was 1,500.
The other thing that I think the other thing being in Vegas was that I had a set amount of time. I had an hour and a half. At home, I could sit with my laptop in my lap all day and only get to 2,000 words. So I think that I have started giving myself not only the word goal, but a time goal that I will write 2,000 words, or I will sit here and work for 2 hours. And as long as I'm productive in those 2 hours.
I was just going to say, you could sit for 2 hours and scroll Facebook. Is that the goal you want?
Yeah, no. I have to be reading 2 hours. And then I can go on and do something else. And then if I feel like at 8 o'clock at night, I want to go back and write some more, I can do that. But I have little mantras that I say to myself. And one of my mantras is writing comes first. So I do try to start that early in the, when I get up after I've had my breakfast.
Well, you said something interesting that keeps us on the goal setting thought is productive. I think we both know we both want to do a word count goal a week. And then I think we also need to have a productive goal a day, either a day or a week. How many hours are we willing or able to put toward our writing career? And what do those hours look like?
Because they're not all writing.
Right.
Because if I write for 2 hours, let's say, at 9 o'clock, I'm ready to sit down and write, and I write for 2 hours and I get my 2,000 words done. That doesn't mean I'm done with writing business.
Right.
Because as I said, there were a couple of sessions that I went to in Las Vegas. One was it's a program, and I bought it. And they take your manuscript and they pull out hooks for you. So they create a slideshow for you to use on social media. And I've played around with it, but I need to go and read all the information that comes with it, so I know exactly what I'm doing, so that I'm using all the features. I really, really liked the two men that developed this program, and I want it to be a success. So I need to, after I've done my 2 hours of writing, I need to spend 2 hours on author business.
Right. And maybe that's a good point. Like, you want to get to know that software or whatever it is, that program. So maybe that's your goal for the week. I've got to watch this, do this, and comprehend this.
Yes.
And then the next week do something else, because I know that I need to also learn how to utilize, and I'm going to say it, AI to help me sort out my next book. And I say that because I have it in multiple journals. I have ideas on journals. I have ideas on my phone, and I need to get that organized. So that way I have my next book outlined, and then from that outline, I can fill it out how I need to, because part of my goal is to learn how to use my time wisely, because again, I work full time. So when I give myself 2 hours to work toward my books, I need to make sure, like you said, those hours are productive. And it's not writing every day. And so it is whatever it is. And I know I've slacked on TikTok. So my goal is to post one TikTok video a day and go live twice a week. I haven't gone live in 2 weeks. So I know, right? That's a little weird. I love going live, and I sell a lot of books doing that.
Yeah.
So and I haven't gone live in 2 weeks. And so I have to get my life reorganized. And so my goal this week is to go live once, because there's so much going on, and then get back into it. So we have that. Now, do you have an income goal, or are you not there yet?
I
don't have income goals, right?
I have a big income goal that I'm not even going to mention.
There you go.
But I don't have. I feel like that's not under my control.
Right.
I think I can publicize my book, but I can't make people buy it. So I don't have a specific, I want to make $10,000 from this book. I don't have, because I don't know how to do that.
I know. And I mean, I have like a KU goal, a KU money goal, and I've never hit it yet. But I hope to, because if I can, and I won't say it, but it's a big goal. But I know that's part of, if I can do that, then that will take my expenses for the month, and I know they're already paid for. That used to be TikTok. I used to have a money goal on TikTok, and I haven't been doing it, and my money goal has gone away. So
Yeah.
by next year, we need to have money goals, because that would maybe make us stay. If we know we want to make up here all these small little goals, we're going to have to stay focused.
Great. And Emily and I have talked about this a lot, that I regard this year as planting seeds.
Mhm.
I'm planting these seeds. I'm getting, I'm going to have, for the end of the year, I'll have 9 books out. So that's a good amount of books. And I just feel like next year is when I'm going to start to see the income goal. So
There you go.
I hope I'm not delusional.
But it's going to depend on what you see as an income goal. I mean,
Right.
$100,000 isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But just, how about breaking even and seeing money?
That would be nice. That would be nice to cover all my expenses.
Absolutely. Have you had any? Okay, but both of us have only been in this for about 2 years, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I have 7 books out. My 8th book is coming out, and you, like you said, you're getting ready to have 9 books out by the end of the year. So we're about the same.
Right.
Have you had any goals and things that you wanted to, but because you didn't hit it, you felt like you needed to quit? And that's going to go to the next part that I really want to talk about.
Yeah. I have that argument with myself pretty frequently. How long am I going to do this? And I definitely, like I said, this year has been planting seeds, and I will definitely give it everything I have next year. And then I will definitely look at, evaluate, and see if I can keep going or not. That's where my head's at.
Right. And that's good. But I don't know. To me, when I started this, I gave myself five years. Because most small businesses, it takes 5 years to see any sort of profit.
Yep.
That's just a thing. And it's been 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years for me next March. So when I think of it that way, my goal was to make a profit in 5 years. I am now 2 years, and I mean a profit as in half of my income in 5 years. That's my thought. And of course, my income keeps going up because I'm a teacher. We get a raise every year. So I need to work. But now, I find myself sometimes feeling like I failed because I haven't made my goal. Well, I'm 2.5 years in. I have to be realistic about it.
Mhm.
And so like my goal right now has to be, and this is what and Emily and I on Mondays, we go over my numbers a lot because I'm a numbers person. I'm trying to grow my email list. So if you guys want to be on my email list, I would love to have you. Go to DonnaRmadden.com, join my email list. Plug yourself, Sue.
Yeah. SueMillsAuthor.com. I growing the email list is a big deal for me too. As a matter of fact, I spent time this morning, and I didn't think of this as business related, but I have a number of authors that I get their emails, and I spent quite a bit of time this morning reading through those, because a lot of times they come in and I don't even look at them.
Right.
So reading through them and thinking, okay, yeah, I like this feature. I like the way they did this. I like the way they did that, because I kind of want to revamp my emails a little bit. So that is definitely something I want to do. I also read something today that talked about the different platforms, the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I consider those the big three.
Right.
And you never know how long they're going to be there. You need to, I don't want to say you need to own your readers, but you need to have a way to get in touch with them. So that's how I want to grow my email list too.
Absolutely. And, if we can grow our email list and then even grow our numbers on the big three social media, like you just said, because I know my numbers aren't great. TikTok's the best, but I really want to grow on Instagram and Facebook because that's where more I feel of my age people are. And if I can grow those numbers this year and email, then that's more and more people who will be knowing about us.
Yeah.
And that's the big game, is getting our names out there and getting to be known. And also, I don't know if you've done this, but we have within like a 2-hour radius of us, we have quite a few independent bookstores, and romance bookstores are popping up everywhere right now. And a lot of them do consignment. Like they'll take your books on consignment. And so I have my books in Blush and Bashful bookstore in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's the cutest all romance bookstore. It's so adorable. I love going up there. I spend too much money, but hey. And then my books are in Reading Rock bookstore in Dixon. She uses Ingram to get my books. And that's a bookstore. And then there's a Storybook Cottage in Greenbrier, right across from where I work. And that one is a everything bookstore, and she purchases mine from Ingram. And then there's a small bookstore in Smyrna, Tennessee called the Spine Bookshop, and they do a consignment. And I feel like there's another one my books are in. Oh, I just applied for one here in Gallatin. And so, getting my books in small bookstores, I want 10. I wanted to be in 10 bookstores by the end of this year. So I'm in 5 right now. So I've gotten there.
That's a really good goal. I have a bookstore right here in town, and I bundle down there, and she pays me for my books. I give her 2 at a time. Mm-hmm. So I've got my latest book I haven't taken down yet, but and then she lets me know if they sell and she needs more. There's another bookstore in Stowe, which is about an hour and a half from me, and she has bought my books on Ingram. So those are the only 2 that I'm aware of. I'm in a library I'm in a couple of different libraries, one in Massachusetts and one in New Hampshire. And the one in New Hampshire invited me to come and do a talk. And so I drove down to do a talk, and nobody showed up. That's always a little discouraging.
Right.
And she was very, very apologetic. And she said, people take your books out, but I don't know how they are in Tennessee. People here in New England, once it starts getting dark at 5:30,
right
now it's 5 o'clock with the time change, we don't leave our houses.
Right.
So I think that was part of the issue. And that's what she said as well. Mm-hmm. So, but that's a really good goal, to get them into a certain amount of bookstores. I am not aware of any romance bookstores in Vermont, but I know there are several in Massachusetts, because they keep coming up on either Instagram or Facebook for me. And my books have a strong Boston component. So those would be perfect place for them.
Right.
And I just need to pursue that a little bit more. And I haven't done that.
And, I've also donated my books to some libraries, my paperbacks,
right.
And that way, because they're libraries, my local libraries, and I've done that just to get my books in there, because they're libraries. It's like, it's a donation. So a little tax write-off for me, not very much, but I've done that also. But I think another goal setting thing is getting our books out there, because the big bookstores aren't going to look at us. We have a lot of bookstores in the Nashville area that won't look at indie authors, but it's the smaller bookstores outside of Nashville, that absolutely will. And
Yeah.
that's, that's a goal of mine, is to get into 10. So I'm going to change that to by the end of next year here in Tennessee, and I know that I need to get out there to a lot of other bookstores just to get, because Ingram, every like 3 months, I get a paycheck from them, like $5, $4.71. I'm like, that's what, 2 books,
I know it's such a minuscule amount. It just,
I think the biggest one I had one time, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. $17.31.
I think I may have gotten $11. So
That is so
it took a while for that to start, because I've had my books in Ingram since February, I think. And I don't think I got any money from them until like July.
I mean, I put my books in Ingram 2 years ago. When I first started, it went to Amazon and Ingram. But yeah, so I think, getting our books out there in bookstores is a great goal. That way our name is out there. And then those are bookstores that you can also tap into doing book signings and all that.
I'm writing this down, bookstore goal.
There you go. And
yeah,
before we get off, I think we need to make a list of our goals and hold each other to them.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Now, okay, you're getting ready to have a book launch, and I'm getting ready to have a book launch.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear this in the author world a lot. What is your goal on launch day? What is your, not ultimate goal, not your wish, but like what do you see as a successful launch? And so what is your goal for a successful launch?
I haven't even set a goal for, when I started, I did pre-order for the ebook and the paperback. And one of my books, maybe the one that came out in May, I discounted the book that came before it. It's kind of a duology. So I discounted the book that came before it down to 99 cents. I don't think I discounted that book, but it was like they could get my prequel for free. Mm-hmm. The very first book was, I think I discounted that to 99 cents. Book 4 was 99 cents. And then the newest book that was coming out was $2.99 for the ebook. And so that was there'd be 4 books, and they would spend less than $5.
Right.
I thought that was a really good promotion, and I promoted it pretty heavily. And I still did not get a lot of pre-orders. My book that came out in July, it's my favorite. That's Whispers of Humility. And I did push that one pretty heavily. And I did a book launch party for that one. I had it at a local art gallery.
Okay.
And that's probably done my best. And I had the most, that's my biggest commission month from Amazon. My Amazon commissions are slightly higher than my Ingram ones. So
I hope so.
I was pretty happy with that. Now I fell down. The book that came out in September, I really fell down, and I have not done much to promote that one. And it shows. I haven't had a lot of sales for that one. So the one that's going to come out either the end of this month or the first part of December, over the next few weeks, I'm going to push that one more heavily. And that is tied to the book that came out in September. So I'm probably going to discount that one. Mm-hmm. and see if I can get more traffic.
Right. Well, with that said, when you say come out, is that your release date on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, see what I'm doing this time. I started this last year, November right, I guess it was like, I keep saying Good Friday. It's not Good Friday. It's Black Friday. Totally different holidays. But
Yeah.
Black Friday last year is that weekend was my first weekend I went live on TikTok.
Oh,
And my second book in Orlando Valley had been out for like 3 weeks. And so we did a lot of sales with that one. So what I've decided I'm going to try to do is December, I'm doing a book launch for, if I can get it done and get them in my hands, for my fourth book, No Heart But Yours, even though the official release date is not till January 8th. So it's the Amazon release date is my official release date. That's when the ebook comes out and everything. My pre-order will go through of my ebook. But in December, I'm doing a pre-launch paperback book sale. I will have the paperbacks in my hands because I keep stock. And in
so,
and in December, I'll be selling them on TikTok,
okay.
early release books.
Okay.
And but the official
So,
January.
so I did, in July, I did a book signing at the bookstore in Stowe that has my books. And I had copies of Whispers of Humility, which was, I think I did the book signing on the 12th, and the book was coming out on the 17th or something like that. And I brought them with me thinking I could sell them in the bookstore, and they said they couldn't do that. It
Right.
was it was it was like against their rules of engagement because it was not officially out yet. So that I was disappointed with that. But probably you selling them on your own.
I can do whatever I want because they're
Right, they're your
Yeah.
books.
but because I know that Ingram, when you're in that contract with Ingram, it's totally different, and but so they're not on they're not going to be the paperbacks aren't going to be online on Ingram or on Amazon. I use a different company for my pre-orders,
Okay.
and that's what I will use. But my goal with that, and it's a lofty goal, huge loft. Okay, it's a lofty goal for me, a new author, 100 books in December of that one title.
Yeah.
And because I'm going to be purchasing that many of that title, and they will be here, and that's my goal. And if I don't make it, I don't. That's not going to hurt me because I know I'm going to sell them because
Yeah.
I do a lot of in-person events. I do a lot of vendor events. But so we have goals of sales. I do a lot of physical books. We have KU and ebooks. So we have all those goals. We have page count goals. We have working goals, and we have money goals. Right? That's a lot of goals.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Now, here's a question. Are you going to focus if we go back to writing, and of course we're going to be writing down our goals before we get off of here, but are you going to be focused on word count a day, word count a week, or how much time you spent actually writing a week?
I think I'm going to be focused on the word count because that's where I need to. The book that I'm writing right now is scheduled to go to editing on December 26th. So I need to get it written. The messy first draft. I want that done. I want that done by the end of November, and then do the rewriting before I send it to editing because I'm not going to send it for a line edit in its messy first draft form.
Absolutely.
It's going to be nearly ready. So I have to we have to have the word count. But I have become very much more cognizant of my time. And so I am going to be focused and I'm going to get that word count done, and I am not going to sit mindlessly scrolling and spinning my wheels, picking up my phone, writing 500 words and then picking up my phone. Like, I'm going to be more focused than that.
Very good. What is your goal next year? How many books or novellas and books? How many do you want to get out next year? What is your
So I schedule ahead. I have a calendar. I have a magnetic calendar that Emily from Small Fry Marketing designed for me, and it has it's really cute, and it has an icon on the dates that I have told her my books are going to come out. I am a procrastinator, and if I don't tie myself to a date, I know I will just spin my wheels forever. So I have 5 books that I'm going to have come out. Here's an interesting goal thing. At Author Nation, we got a postcard, and the postcard had room for us to address it to ourselves, and it had space on one side for us to write down what we're going to do in the next 6 months. So my things that I wrote down in the next 6 months were that I am going to do a Kickstarter campaign for a book that I am calling Tape on the Floor. It's about COVID.
okay?
I am going to do a Kickstarter campaign for I'm going to do an anthology of short stories of the weddings of all the characters in Whispers of New England. That's going to come out in June. And then, so I had those 2 goals, and I had that I was going to consistently write 2,000 words a day and make time in my life for fun. So in 6 months, they are going to mail those to us so that we can be reminded of what we wrote down and see how we did. So I'm kind of excited about that.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. I know that next year I'm going to have 2 more of my Arlinda Valley books come out. And then I'm planning something different. Not different. I'm planning to do something else. I don't want to say what it is yet. But that'll be it's a big project. That's all I'm going to say. And with that will be another book. So my goal is 2 full-length books. And of course, my books are 75,000 words, my novels.
Okay.
And then the 3rd book, I went on the shorter side, about 50,000 words. And that book, I want to connect my 2 series that I have out right now together with that book. And then a big change. And that should bring about a Kickstarter campaign. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Emily and I are kicking around a whole bunch of possibilities right now. And so that would be 2 full-length novels. And then the shorter, I guess that's a novelette, 40 to 50,000 words. And then I also...
That's a novel. That's considered a novel.
Yeah, that's really short for me, though. But then I have my novellas that I need to get those 2 done. That's 20,000 words. I can write one of those in a week if I get focused. So, especially in the summertime. But right now, before next June, I want to write 1 more book and a novella, and then work on what we have coming up. So that's very doable. It's a lot, but I have Christmas break coming up. I have 2 free weeks-ish, minus all the stuff I got to do for Christmas and getting a new puppy. Right. But that's all that. And then, of course, I have a grandchild coming next year. But lots of stuff going on, lots of goals to do. So, and I don't have a pen sitting here, but I do. Let's go ahead real quick, and then we're going to call it a day. And if you're out there and you're watching, do it too. Let's focus. Let's write down, and then you and I are going to share this with each other.
Okay.
Okay. Our weekly goals. All right. Our monthly goals. Yep. Now, okay, let's do weekly goals with our weekly writing goals. And then our weekly marketing goals. And that would be even social media, whatever you feel is marketing for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Our monthly goals of writing. And how about monthly goals needs to be sales? How's that sound?
Monthly goal for writing or for sales.
Sales, yeah.
Okay.
And then we're going to have a yearly goal for next year.
Okay.
We're going to put all that on paper so that way we can see it.
Okay. Because I have a lot, like you, I have a lot more than just those 5 books that I plan to have come out and the 2 Kickstarters. I've got some other things brewing that I'm excited about. So
There you go. And
yeah.
So anybody out there, make your same goals, weekly writing goals. If you're a new author, that's a great place to start. Find a word count, figure out what you can do a day. Start small and build up. That's a great way to make a goal. That way you're always going to hit it so you don't feel discouraged. Being discouraged as a writer sucks, doesn't it, Sue?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It does. And then because if you can do 10,000 words a week in a month, you're going to have a 40,000 words written. And I don't know about you, Sue, but like I know, like I said, I write 75-ish thousand words. Like the one I'm writing right now, 74 plus. And when my first draft is usually about 58,000. It's always below 60,000 words because I don't spend time describing things, and I don't spend time doing all the details. I just get the words down.
Yeah.
And then my first revision is when I stop and I do the details and I get the sensory stuff in there and I do all of that. And by the time I'm done, I'm over 70,000 words. So
right.
I'm like,
yeah, mine are between 50, generally 50 and 60. The one I have a book at editing right now, and I should get it back on Friday. So it's going to complicate my new writing schedule because I've got to get that edited. But I like that process. I like the editing process much more than I like the writing process. Oh my gosh,
it's so much easier, isn't it? After you get past all the comments and all the stuff your editor has done to your manuscript, it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I suck. What the heck was I thinking?
I know. So that book was 62,000.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so I do. Mine are more than 50.
Okay. I've had 2 that are in the 60,000 ranges, and now when I read them, I'm like, oh, you should have been longer. But it is what it is. But
yeah.
So for next week, my ultimate goal for this week is to get book 4 off to the printer. I've got to get that done, and then get in 10,000 words of my next book. That's my goal this week for our next week stuff. What is your ultimate goal this week?
So my ultimate goal before next Tuesday would be to write another 14,000 words, 2,000 words a day. And by the time we meet next week to have that book I'm getting back on Friday, all edited.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Write that down so we can make sure we hold each other accountable for that next week.
Those are my 2 big goals. And then the other one will be the one that is marketing wise will be to work on that author scale and hopefully get some of those videos up.
Right. And I'm going to be prepping my December sales, my TikTok and online sales, getting book boxes and stuff. Right. I'm ready for the release in December. That's my goal with my marketing. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for hanging out with Sue and me tonight, and join us next week as we talk about different ways to reach readers. And some of these ways might be ways that you have never thought before. Remember to share this podcast with all your friends. We're available everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Check out Sue at SueMillsAuthor.com and check out me at DottaRMadden.com. And you can get our books either on Amazon, on KU. You can purchase mine on my website. Do you have books on a website?
My books are on my website, and they're also on TikTok.
Awesome. Me too. Well, you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
All right.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Indie Authors Uncovered, brought to you by Small Fry Marketing, your single source for affordable marketing solutions. Visit us at smallfrymarketing.com.